In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the hot topics or the burning questions that I'm asked pretty frequently as I live out this experience with the carnivore diet, how it shifted from a diet to a lifestyle. Since starting the carnivore diet in January of 2023 at the age of 47, I have healed lifelong insulin resistance. I have lost 40 pounds. I have healed chronic lifetime inflammation. I am no longer pre-diabetic. I've healed my intense high anxiety and intrusive thoughts. My brain fog has lifted. All of my health markers, my metabolic health markers are in an optimal range. I feel better than I ever have. I'm healthier than I've ever been. And this is how I did it, and maybe it will work for you. So here are some of the top questions that I am asked. What can I eat? What do I eat? Why am I so strict? What you can eat if you want to do a carnivore diet is anything that is animal based. Okay. I eat primarily beef, butter, bacon, eggs. I don't eat a lot of dairy. I have done different shifts from lion diet when I very first started. And I was dealing with a specific flare up. So I went hardcore carnivore. For 2 weeks, I did lion diet. I eventually reintroduced and added in, not in a methodical way, just in the beginning, the first couple of months, I did reincorporate pork, and I have shifted and done, dairy of all kinds, but dairy gives me a little bit of trouble, and so do spices. It's not that I cannot eat them. If you follow Nisha, it's kind of a yellow food. It's going to give me a little bit of inflammation. It's going to give me a little joint pain. And I just, if I want to deal with that, that's where we are. But I don't ever eat anything that is sugar or carbs. I haven't had any fiber, fruits, vegetables, plants of any kind. I mean, technically I drink coffee, so come at me, bro. No fiber, no sugar, no fiber, no sugar, no grains for 20 months. That's the way I do it. That's the way you can do it any way you want. You can ease into it. If that's going to work for you, that doesn't work for me. I can't ease into things. I am all or nothing. I'm an abstainer. There we go. The number one question or the number one statement or the topic is, oh, I don't even like meat that much. Listen, I did not like meat. I did not. If I got a hamburger, it was because of the bun. I was always into the bun. I've never enjoyed meat. I ate very little meat just because I didn't like it. And that is because I was addicted to carbs and sugar. Your tastes can change. My tastes have changed completely. My taste buds, things are different. I eat sardines now. I'm not saying you need to eat sardines, but there's no way I could express to you what me eating sardines means. I was very picky. I didn't like meat either. And now I love meat. Thank goodness. Started out and I would eat lean cuts and add in fat that way. Add in butter to up my fat if I was eating very lean. I do tend to eat, I'd say moderate fat. I'm an intuitive carnivore now, which means I just eat until I'm full. It took me months to get to that spot. I did not start out just knowing how much to eat and when to eat and all that. I did lots and lots of experiments day in and day out, and I figured out what works well for me. And as soon as I figure it out, it can shift. So it's an ongoing process, but your tastes can change. So when you are starting out, eat the foods that you like. If you like bacon and eggs and hot dogs and bologna and cheese and pork rinds, go for it. Eat it up. Make a plan, set a plan for, I'm going to try this for this many days. I would say do 90 days. 90 days is perfect. Try to do some planning, mental planning in your head, or write it down. There were days that I had to take it, and I am not exaggerating. I would have to take it moment to moment. All I have to focus on is getting through this one day. I do not have to worry about tomorrow. Today has its own problems, and tomorrow's not promised. I had to focus on being in the moment. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. What about the keto flu or transition period, fat adapted, that kind of thing? What is ketosis, those kinds of things. I'm not going to go into any of that specific because I understand it, but I can't explain it very well. So there's tons of information and videos out there for you. But in the beginning, you might have transition or flu-like symptoms, especially if you're coming from high carb. I did have that. I started in the middle of January, and around the beginning of February, we had some inclement weather and we were all stuck at home. And that is when I had what's called keto flu. I had a headache, body aches. I laid on the couch for about 3 or 4 days, and I did have some digestive issues. So next we're going to talk about poop. Okay. It is one of the most asked questions. What about poop? Do you poop? Yes. I'm regular and I go to the bathroom without issue regularly, and I have never had that before carnivore. That was never the case. I had considerable digestion issues, gastro issues when I was in my 20s, and we're talking urgency, cramping, bloating. It was bad. I had IBS-like symptoms. I don't have any kind of diagnoses like that. It was not a fun time. Then later in life, after having kids and, getting older, I had a lot of bloating, gas, and the opposite. I had constipation I was constipated, and I would take medication, over-the-counter medication, to help go to the bathroom. I don't remember having diarrhea where, I definitely had problems with that in the very beginning, but I don't remember how long it lasted. That is something to expect. There's a good argument in there for easing into it. So it's October 8th. If you know that you are not going to, start eating this way before the holidays, you might ease into it. So start adding in more protein, meat, eggs, bacon, incorporating that into your way of eating now. And don't think about, oh, what am I going to do at Thanksgiving and Christmas and the holidays and Halloween and all that. Just think, okay, today I'm going to have more protein and up that, and maybe I will have less of this or that. I think you might ease into it and might have less withdrawal and transition symptoms if you start fresh, like, oh, I'm starting in January, World Carnivore Month, I'm going to start and really be hardcore. Well, you've eased it down. You might not have it. But if you are a person like me that had an acute reaction, I had this major reaction to something I had eaten, and I was like, done, detox, elimination diet. So I did have some transition, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But I don't even remember how long it lasted. So that's telling you something. And I have a very, very good memory for my health conditions. It is definitely manageable, but you do need to know you might have diarrhea for a couple of weeks. So, but I never have trouble going to the bathroom. It never, hardly ever. I don't want to say never. Something that improved within days was my bloating and inflammation. So I always was so bloated and gassy, and that got better very, very quickly within days. What are some other health issues you were surprised to realize were connected and that improved on the carnivore diet? Well, for me, the most astonishing improvement was my mental clarity, my mental health. Racing thoughts at night, my intrusive thoughts, my thoughts of doom and gloom went away I noticed it after 2 months. My mental health improved, specifically my heightened, very high anxiety had gotten so much better. My mental clarity was getting better. My brain fog was lifting because I had no idea any of this was related. My cravings for alcohol went away fast days. So my daughter, she asked me, what about the afternoon slump? I rarely have an afternoon slump. I don't get hangry. I don't snack all the time. So my blood sugar is regulated. So I eat something, until I'm full, and then I'm good for 4 or 5 hours. And then I eat again, and then I'm done for the day. My sleeping got better. Like, my racing thoughts at night got much better, so I was able to fall asleep, wake up, and be ready to go. Like, get out of bed and go. And I had never been a person that woke up and wanted to get out of bed. And now I wake up and I'm ready to go. Let's go. The other thing about my sleeping is, I didn't realize it, but in the last 10 years, last several years, my husband Dale had said that I was snoring, that my snoring improved. I don't snore anymore. And I didn't realize I snored because I never thought I did. And I don't think I did until I was probably in my 30s and started having inflammation. And then I gained weight. He says that I do not snore anymore. Someone asked me, what do I miss? I will tell you, I miss very little food. I would really love to be able to reincorporate spices. When I eat garlic, I have had something seasoned with garlic salt, Redmond's garlic salt, not like a garlic clove. And when I eat that, it does give me a little bit of a stomach ache or a gastro issue or something. And so I do not react well. And I would also like to be able to tolerate Mexican spices. I do love tacos, taco bowl. And I would really like to be able to eat more dairy, but I do not pine for those foods. I do not pine for them. And sometimes I will think about a food, especially if it's wrapped up in a celebration, if it's a holiday or something. I will have a fleeting thought like, oh, it'd be really good to eat that. But it is manageable, very manageable. When I first started doing the carnivore diet for several months, I was concerned that I would eat something mindlessly. Like, I would just pick something up and eat it before realizing, oh, I don't want to do that. And now my brain works better, so I can look at it. Oh yeah, I remember what that tastes like or whatever, and the fleeting thought, and then it's gone. I do not have cravings for anything. I did have a period about several weeks ago. I got some sad news. Someone had passed away, and it was the first and only time that I had to really distract myself because the urge to drink was there, and it was an emotional response to a sad situation. So I really had to, that was the only time as long as I've been doing carnivore, that's the only time that the urge was really strong. And it was for alcohol, and it wasn't for wine. It was for like hard, like a mixed drink. And it passed. It didn't have a hold on me like it used to. I could think, oh, I'm having this response because I'm processing this grief and I'm moving on. So I don't miss any food. I do remember, especially in the beginning, going through a grieving period, thinking, I'm never going to have cake again, or I'm never going to have this again, or I'm never going to have that again. And now I just don't think about it the same way. I don't like to tell myself I'll never do something, because I don't say that to myself, because there's something in my brain that will be, oh yes, we will be doing that again. I can't tell myself never. So I just don't think of it in those terms anymore. And that does help me with that period of thinking, I'm never going to get to enjoy something so you associate something different, because I just feel like food is fuel now. It has a purpose. We use it as a tool. We have to eat it, and this is what it is. So a lot of the food noise has gone away for me. I don't think about food. I used to focus on food. I used to be obsessed with food. What am I eating now? What am I eating later? What am I eating next week? What am I eating when we go out of town? You know, consumed. I was consumed by thoughts of food and food noise. And I have none of that now. It really addresses a lot of addiction or addictive tendencies or compulsive tendencies when it comes to food. That's what it did for me. I know I don't binge. I eat my meat and it makes me happy. So those are some of the questions and topics that come up over and over and over. If you have anything else that you want me to talk about, please leave it in the comments. So hey, if you enjoyed this video about my most impactful experiences by simply changing the way I eat and how much it changed my life. So watch this video right here. Thank you.